Daniels? Allie, right? The barrel racer.
Yeah, that's me.
You ever seen anyone so pretty on a horse before?
Are you chasing me, Cody Gunner?
Well, great to talk to you guys. I really enjoyed the series. I watch a lot of content, obviously, because we're Movieguide, but I just thought this one was really entertaining and could be a great, series that could go on and on and on for different seasons on Pureflix, and I loved that.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. And you'll have to tell Ted hello for me. It's been a few years, but I really enjoy him.
Okay, that's my dad, so I understand the family business.
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's great.
Tyler, tell me a little bit about that, working alongside your mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It was an unexpected blessing that came after college. We started actually working on a book series together. So we write the Baxter Family Children series together, and then we collaborated on Maggie's Christmas Miracle for Hallmark. And then this project came along, and it was just an incredible another opportunity to work with her. I've learned so much from her growing up, and then now, as a collaborator, I feel like we just continue to learn from each other. It's super fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's a whole nother dynamic when it's family, right? Because
it is. Well, and I think what's cool about it is that, we might disagree about small things or get in small quote unquote arguments about storylines or characters, but at the end of the day, we are family, and we're always going to be there for each other. We want to serve one another and serve the Lord and ultimately serve the story. So I think it works out because neither of us are going anywhere. So we're gonna keep working together. It's gonna be great.
And so every movie and every series, the key to it is story, and you guys have created a great story here. I mean, the budgets can fluctuate and everything can fluctuate, but the root of it is story. So talk about how, Karen, you've written so many books, but when you're bringing it to, the television or to the big screen, kind of that process of modifying your stories.
So, with 1,000 Tomorrows, wrote this book a couple of years ago, book about an angry bull rider and a sick barrel racer and kind of the love that only God could have brought for the two of them to pull them together. It's not my longest novel. It's like one of my shorter novels. So when Sony Affirm and Pureflix said, hey, would you like to make this into a 6-part series? I wondered if I had enough content, for it. Tyler and I both love screenwriting, but he's like, that's his gifting more. So I already had a lot of books I was writing and working on and, things with the Baxters and whatnot. So I said, you know what, if Tyler's available, I think we can make this happen. And so Tyler was the one that got to take it kind of from book concept to developing, like actually expanding it and adding characters, adding moments that weren't in the book to be able to make it more visually, you have to have energy and you have to have more, he developed new characters and moments that were not in the book. I was impressed with that because he wrote the first draft of 6 episodes, brought them over to my house, and we would do like a table read. And I just kept being like, wow, like I respect him as a writer. He did a great job.
That's so nice. Thanks. Thank you.
And for you, Tyler, kind of that process, do you want to kind of expand on it and bring it to the screen?
Yeah, I mean, I love the book. Like, honestly, it's whether she's my mom or whether she's my mom or not. I love the story. I think it's a great love story. She's created such complicated characters, and Cody's anger and Allie's mystery. They're very interesting characters to read about. So I got to revisit the book as an adult, and I read it several times and just fell in love with it again. And just she made it easy to bring it to life because there were so many layers there. It's so complex and so beautiful. And so expanding that, I had such a great foundation. And then when she was in agreement with my outline and the direction I kind of wanted to go, it started just to come to life in a brand new way. And so I think what Pureflix has done with it, even more so, just elevates the story. You get to spend lots of time in that, rodeo world, and really just live with Cody, live with Allie long enough to fall in love with them. And I think it's more than you would get in like a 2-hour film. It's special to have 6 episodes.
And you could even, hopefully we'll see what happens, but hopefully it expands even beyond that because, the characters themselves have depth to them, right? Because he's got a past and she's got her sickness that she's dealing with. So talk about the decision to kind of add that sickness in there. I think is she dealing with cystic fibrosis? Is that what her actual, because I've only seen a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she's dealing with cystic fibrosis, and I wrote that book. My husband was coaching, he was a basketball coach for high school kids, but our kids were 8 and 9. some of them at that age, and he was coaching a young team, and one of the kids on the team had cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
And so we got to see kind of get, you know, what that life looks like. And it's crazy. Like there were times in the middle of the game, he'd have to lie on the floor, and my husband would have to pump his feet, like to try to get those lungs to open up. And I just, you know, depending on what the, you know, the medication and the different therapies that a person goes through, it's still like you lose years, you know, you could lose decades off your life. And so to me, I felt like having cystic fibrosis for her, it came down to what would it take to love someone so much. This is a bit of a spoiler, but this is in the book.
Spoiler.
But, you know, to say, you know what, rip open my chest, take out a lung, let me give you that lung, and all it's going to buy us is about 1,000 tomorrows.
Yeah.
What would it take to love like that? And that's sort of where the love story of Cody and Allie and 1,000 tomorrows came from.
Well, one of my best friends has cystic fibrosis, so I appreciated the fact that you guys kind of represented that community and showed, you know, and just sickness in general, right? It kind of points to someone who's willing to live and take risks in the midst of, you know, the hardships that they have to endure. So, you know, I noticed all over your website, it says you're into life-changing fiction. So I'm sure that you, Tyler, that's something you want to take on too, but Karen, in your own words, what does that mean?
You know, the name came from the readers. So back in the day when I was writing, and I would get these letters, and they would say, you know, my husband and I were divorced, and we both read this book, and now we're married again. Like, this is life-changing. And it occurred to me that I was, you know, God was putting movies in my heart, and I got to make them into books. Now we're seeing that full circle, which is so exciting. But people were saying it's changed their lives. So I thought, well, that's what I'll be, life-changing fiction. It's kind of its own genre in that way, that a story can be physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And that doesn't make it weaker. That makes it stronger. I think it's really important to be honest, to have flawed characters. I think the difference is that we can I mean, no one's going to watch a story where everyone's perfect. It just, you know, it's not something I could relate to or want to watch. But what the difference is, to glorify God in this, is that I need to be select about what I write about, and we will be select about what we produce for film. We've done a feature film this last fall with Kingsbury Productions, just opened that, and Tyler got to direct it, and that should be in theaters coming up in October. And it's the same thing. It's like, I don't want anyone to notice till the end where they go, you know what? Come to think of it, there was no language in that. Come to think of it, you know, there was actually no sex scene in that, because it was so deep, and it pulled you in so much in that life-changing way that you didn't miss those things that would have been gratuitous.
So in that movie, or you have a different movie that's in conjunction with Roma Downey, right? That you're in partnership with? Well,
actually, Roma, so she's doing all the Baxters. And so the Baxters, we have 3 seasons already finished, but they just are caught up in all the negotiations with Amazon and MGM. And it's just, you know, I have no control over, which has been the case for like several years with that. But so we kind of said, look, I've learned a lot from a lot of different people, including her. Pureflix, different people, and now I just would like to do it as well. I want to make my own. And so Kingsbury Productions, Someone Like You, it's a story of a girl whose whole life was kind of built on a lie, but it's a love story as well, and it's about embryo adoption. That story, Someone Like You, we filmed it in Nashville. Tyler directed it. It'll be hopefully in theaters in the fall, but we hope to do one a year. Like, I want to do feature films that are big movies. I think we're missing the love story in this space. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, sometimes there's like romantic comedies and things, which is all fun, but like where's the Notebook with redemption? You know, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. I'm into that. And, you know, you've had a lot of people in a big audience on that, and so I think you guys will do well with that. I know it's you doing your own production is a big deal, but you know, we'll promote it. I think it's a great space to be in. So,
thank you.
You know, and you guys are, you know, everything you write about is about hope. So how do you know, what's the hope on this project specifically, 1,000 Tomorrows, that people get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope people enjoy it and that they love the, you know, the rodeo scenes and the love story. But more than that, I hope that they take away the messages that Cody and Allie take away, which is, I think, ultimately be strong and courageous in the Lord. You know, towards the end of the series, that's sort of a common theme that they both embrace, is being strong and courageous. And whether it's anger or past pain like Cody is experiencing, or maybe it's an illness, the way that Allie is wrestling with. They both have to look at their fear right in the face and say, I'm going to choose to be strong and courageous in the Lord, and find victory over it. And, you know, we hope that people who watch it can experience that for themselves, that they can say, all right, I'm facing, you know, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, fill in the blank. But I know that I can be strong and courageous, and I can get through it with help of the Lord and with people around me.
And, you know, that's where the message of hope actually is that you don't have to stay stuck. You know, that if you're suffocated by anger or bitterness or unforgiveness, or if you're just like, wake up every day going, how am I going to get through another day with this sickness? You don't have to stay in that place. God is calling you to a victory and a freedom outside of that will make all the world turn and look, because it's so beautiful.
And Karen, when you're writing, what's your first, you know, sit down? What is your first thing that you do?
Well, like I say, you know, the Lord puts it on my heart like a movie, so I can see it in my head. So then I outline, and I think, you know, that if I had one bit of advice for other writers, it would be outline, because, you know, I could not, writing a book is like swimming across the ocean, and I am not willing to go, you know, 100 miles in the wrong direction before I realize I'm off course. So I need an outline. And then once I've got the outline, you know, it's a pretty quick process. It's just a matter of being disciplined enough. I sometimes wish that my chair had a seatbelt, you know, like with a timer on it or something. But yeah, just getting to sit down and take each one of those chapter moments. You know, every chapter has about a paragraph of whose point of view and where it is and when it is and what's happening. And that's my assignment for the day, is get that done.
How do you know it's real?
Peace. He came to give us peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the three-time champion, bad boy, Cody Gunner.
You heard him.
Cody Gunner. Saw you ride tonight. You were good.